Hey, it takes a few minutes to go live, um, but here I am, and I am here wearing once again matching my background. I realized as I sat here getting ready, I'm like, I matched my background again, and I'm wearing my undefeated hide and seek champion T-shirt, Bigfoot T-shirt. So, oh, hello, Michelle. How you doing? So tonight, I figured it's time for us to talk a little bit more about, and I've spoken of this before, but it's time to talk a little bit more about what we are going to do with earthbounds, what to do about earthbounds, because we've still got a bunch of them on this world. So it's time to have a discussion about it and what we can do. Some of you already do crossing overs, and I realize that. Crossing overs are one of my specialties. I have really one of my first big missions was a mass crossing over, and I didn't really even know I knew for sure how to do that. I wasn't even sure I could do that. That was in New Orleans. That was why I had to go to New Orleans, was this big, massive crossing over that I had to do, among other things. So that's something I've been doing for ages. And I found out you can do it en masse. So, oh, here we got some people. Look, okay. Hello, we have Michelle Cannon Free, we have Linda Bennett, and my background's yellowy orange. It's kind of a beige, but I guess it does kind of look yellowy orange. I'm talking about my my little frame here. I kind of blend in with my frame. Yeah, earthbounds. We got some. Uh, I think I did, Linda. I'm not sure if I told me. I think so. I think I did manage to do that. Yeah, the frame, I have been matching my frame a lot lately. A lot of my clothes are actually in this color scheme, so it's not a big surprise. Even my background kind of matches some of the little colors in the frame here. Yeah, it's pretty color coordinated today. And I'm even wearing, let me see, am I wearing, yeah, I'm even wearing a little purple, my purple Q-Link. So I'm all coordinated today. Okay, so, some people call it the raw mission, RA, raw mission. Some people call it the mission, their mission. And my mission, my first big mission, was doing and I had no warning that I was going to be doing this nut in New Orleans. I mean, you kidding me? I knew I had to go to New Orleans. Oh, my hair, fluff it up a little so it doesn't look so lifeless. But then it's in my way. I don't like it. No, that looks good. Vanity. Oh, that actually is kind of cute. Okay, I'll take that. So I knew I had to go to New Orleans. I didn't know I was going to become homeless down there. They don't always tell you the important part. That's probably scared me. I mean, a lot of times they won't tell you the stuff that's going to keep you scary enough to not do it. But it's like, what? I'm going to be homeless and oh, what are you crazy? That's okay. We'll take care of you. Why? I was not, I did have so much trust. Really, I did have a lot of trust when I was doing all this. But I think if they would, it might have gone different if they would have told me, you're going to be homeless. And yeah, this is how I was actually put in touch with some of the things and people that I needed to be in order to pull off the mission. So, although it wasn't easy for me at all, I'm glad I did it. It was an important thing to do, and it really proved to me that it was possible, and it proved to me that it was important work, that I had something important to live for, because remember, I had a near-death experience, and after that, I really had the idea that, yeah, I've got some kind of reason I'm here. Because otherwise I would have been gone at that point, you know. So that was back at the time the first shuttle blew up. The shuttle blew up. Was it Columbia? Was it Columbia? Challenger, something like that. Anyway, and it's funny because I have such a weird problem with that date. It was in the 80s. That date has actually been Mandela affected for me, the date of my death there. I have talked about having the precognitive dream. I'll go over it again. Challenger. Yeah, it was Challenger. Honestly, that's all I heard when I woke up. Started getting in touch with people, and was Challenger exploded. They weren't even listening to me saying, hey, I died. They were telling me about the Challenger exploding. Oh, the Challenger exploded. A lot of people died. You know, people died. Everybody died. You know, me too. Oh, but the Challenger exploded. That's all I heard. And I'm like, well, would you listen? I died too, and I had this interesting experience. The Challenger exploded, and they died. Oh, well, that's very sad. I'm kind of disabled. I'm kind of broken up, and I died. I'm back though. Oh, wow. But did you hear the Challenger exploded and they died? Okay. We'll talk later, I guess. Hello, Richard Elmore. How you doing? So everything, yeah, mega crossing overs I went on to do. And I guess this is something that a lot of shaman have begun doing, maybe they have always done this, is mass crossing overs. Because if you think about it, there are so many people who have died on this planet, and a lot of them without benefit of knowing what the heck they're supposed to be doing once they get there on the other side. Now, usually help does come for them, but and lately, this has been the worst part. Lately, we've been hearing people talk about, you know, soul traps and don't go into the light and so on. And we're going to talk about all this. We're going to talk about the don't go into the light thing that's going around. We're going to talk about Do you get a choice and what that's like? We're going to talk about um, what I saw, what other people have seen. We're going to talk about what to do in case you encounter, because you probably will at some point in your life if you're sensitive at all and have, you know, any kind of woo experiences at all. Sooner or later, you're probably going to come across earthbounds and need to do something about it. So I'd like to think that I'm helping spread some awareness about this and help people deal with this, because there's going to be, as I have said, and as many of us have seen, in this next year, particularly early on, we're going to hear a lot of deaths. There's going to be some natural disasters, as well as a lot more are going to be because of what we've been going through for the last few years. And so people are confused. Oh, well, thank you, Linda. Can you bring it up? I'm, in either with me and MeWe, or I gave you my phone number. I did give you my phone number in MeWe, and I've never gotten a call. But you can also catch me on WhatsApp. I haven't downloaded TikTok because it's a Chinese spy agency. It's really a Chinese spy app. And so I don't. I had TikTok for a minute and read about it. And they give us one TikTok and they give themselves another. We get one version, they get another version. We get the spy on version for spying on us. So I don't know. Let's talk about it. What do you know? And I will put what you know and what I know together, and maybe we'll figure some stuff out. But that's the reason I haven't been on TikTok lately or recently. I mean, everybody's getting on TikTok, and why haven't I? Well, I had TikTok, and I got this info. Hey, Amber, how you doing? Yeah, so I don't know. There's probably ways to do that, though. There might be some safe ways to do it. I don't know. Maybe get a VPN. Maybe have some kind of protection on the phone or whatever you're using. Anyway, and you should know that too. I mean, really, they're spying on you if you've got TikTok. Chinese government are not nice people. Check out what I posted in MeWe recently about the exploding helmets. That the Chinese people, let me be clear. The Chinese people themselves, I have no problem. The Chinese government, let me put it that way. It's the Chinese government. Let me be very clear. It's the Chinese government that I'm not down with. Their methods. I mean, especially this latest thing I've heard is just mind-boggling and sounds like complete science fiction. You didn't find it. Okay, I'll make sure that you looked in MeWe? I left it for you in a private message a long time ago. And I left it in a group message a long time ago. But I'll put it in there again. Okay? And you're welcome to call me. I've known you long enough. Way more worried about Efferberg. Oh, God. Well, I'm not on there either much. I have an account. I don't post hardly ever in there. I just use it once in a while when I need to keep in touch with somebody. But Facebook is another thing. It's not good either. I mean, a lot of this social, I gotta tell you, Elon is a hero for taking over Twitter. He really is. Because I just wish that somebody decent would take over the other ones, Google and Facebook and this place, the Tube. If somebody good got a hold of those, then we could have all kinds of information pop up. But, you know, that's going to be a fight to the death, probably. I don't know. Right. The government said they couldn't have TikTok on their computers or phones because it's a spy app. It records everything. And it records all your business. So, and people are putting all kinds of information on it, just like they did on Facebook and other mediums. So, you know, what can you do? People are like that. They're kind of silly. Don't you realize that this could bite you later, come back and bite you in the butt? But no, people don't realize that, how badly in the butt it can bite them, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going to run my lovely intro and give it a moment or two for a few more people to notice I'm on. Be back. And we're back. And going back and looking at chat. Let's see what the chat is doing. Oh, you quit MeWe for a while. See, MeWe's actually the safer one. MeWe's actually the one that's actually pretty safe. I mean, they don't do a whole lot of data mining and stuff there. But it's a little boring comparatively, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, MeWe's actually the safest one so far. Now, there may be some other safe ones. I hear that some of them there are other safe ones. But MeWe's fairly safe and doesn't have a lot of the stuff. I haven't had the problems on that I've had on Facebook. And that's why I'm stashing our stuff there. I'm stashing our the stuff that I find on various medium that I want to show you. I put it on MeWe because it's safer. There, I don't get the censorship problem. I don't run into the censorship problems, for one thing. I don't run into the invasive stuff for another. So it's not very exciting, but it's fairly safe. So that's why. Oh yeah, well, we're being tracked. Only I'm not sure I want the Chinese government on top of that to be able to track me. Not that I do that much that's terribly interesting to them, I don't suppose, but how do we know what they're interested in? I just don't trust the whole thing, and I have no reason to. I got cowboy hair up my nose, I think. And speaking of which, let me see if I can do this without. Here he is, man of the hour, our little cowboy, right by my side, waiting for me to reach over and give him some pets. Got his little pillow nest here that we made so he can be comfy. And you're seeing the back of his head, isn't it? They'd like to see your eyes, cowboy, but that's okay. You're a cat. We understand. It's my little knucklehead dear. Yeah, me too. I quit just about everything. I quit most social media for a while, but then I realized that I really actually do like to be able to get in touch with people from time to time. So, and get information to people from time to time. So I had to come up with something. Let me get this thing, move this hopefully down just slightly. Okay, now I'm looking more right at you. Okay. Well, I've quit most everything else. I'm probably going to be going to cowboy healing here for that very fuzzy undercoat of his just flies everywhere. It's almost invisibly small. It's so fine. It's like almost microscopically small, some of it. Then anyway. So when it gets up, you can't even see it. When it gets up your nose, you can feel it, but you can't see it. Oh, but I love him, so what are you going to do? He's my little kitty, and he's a sweet boy, and gotta love him in spite of all that. Oh, you have 5 kids. You understand this, right? It's like, I love him, but boy, I find your hair there and everywhere. You know, I got a whole here, there, and everywhere song that I dedicate to Cowboy because I find little bits of him everywhere. He's just constantly with me on my clothes, you know, everywhere I go. So anyway, we're talking about earthbounds, and of course, an earthbound, to be exact, is a spirit that has, of a person who has died and has not crossed over yet, has not made it safely home, so to speak. And there are way too many of them still. So I have been hearing about this on other channels too, and other people have been saying, you know, that I talked to have been saying, hey, did you know? There's been, I mean, we've seen it on Dave's show, we've seen it on Rob's show now. It is time to start talking about this again. I mean, some of you were here when we did our last massive crossing over. Oh, Linda found out she's allergic to cats after she gave them away. Yikes. That's sad. It's really sad. A lot of people, they're allergic. There's a few different ways to be allergic to a cat. You can be allergic to their dander, you can be allergic to their saliva, or you can be allergic to the kitty litter. I found out I was allergic to the kitty litter, and I've changed to Crystal, and everything's good now. So all I do is I get a few of his hairs up my nose now and then, but it doesn't seem to make me feel that bad. Okay, so just word to the wise, the crystal stuff is pretty good. Crystal stuff's pretty good, and having an automatic cat box is also very nice. That keeps me out of it for long periods of time. The thing about Earthbound Spirits is they have had an opportunity, most of them, to go on, but they didn't. Somehow it didn't work out for them. Most of them, I think part of it, I have explained this before. Some of it is we have had a malfunctioning mechanism, and it's supposed to be more immediate, but a lot of people actually see the light show up, and it scares them. They don't know what to do. They've never been told what to do. We're very lacking in this society on information about what to do when you die. And that's horrible. If you think about it, this is like the biggest transition of your life is dying, isn't it? I mean, that's a pretty major transition. And we should be able to talk about it. But we've had too much interference, both religiously and physically. Science doesn't want to get into it. Scientists, if they try to bring it in, and if they try to study it, they get ostracized. There's all kinds of problems in that realm. They try to take spirit out of it, and you know what? You take spirit out of everything, you're not gonna know everything, because it's a very big part of everything. I mean, it's really, consciousness is all there really is. It's like, I'm going to find everything about the sun by studying the moon. The moon is I'm going to look at moonlight, and that will tell me all I need to know about the sun. No, the moon is reflecting light. So, no, you know, it's like I'm gonna learn everything I need to know by looking at the world through this mirror here. And once I know all about this mirror, I'll know about the world. No, you won't. That's not how you do it. You can find out a lot, maybe, but you're not gonna find out everything. So you've got to be willing to go beyond that. Yeah, you were there with the crossing overs, I know. Yeah, you were one of the people that was there for that. And then I got, so drained from that. So I've been doing it on a less massive scale since then. But that was so draining. I mean, I had a heck of a time after that for a long time. Yeah. Well, yeah, I knew that about you, Linda, that you were doing that too. A lot of us have been doing this for decades now. And I didn't know for a long time I could do it en masse until my New Orleans trip, which was in the 90s. So that's when and I can't remember exactly what year, that's when I discovered that I could do it that way. I had no idea. As I said, that was my version of a raw mission, if you want to call it that. It was a mission. My death, I should probably say something shortly about my NDE, very briefly. Right, if you take spirit out of it, there's nothing left. There really is. Not studying spirit. Oh, hey, well, you're not serious about this, right? You're not serious about really knowing stuff, are you? Because it's kind of obvious when you really get into it. I don't know how they convince the world. I guess it was a hard counter reaction to the church. I kind of understand that. Okay, so because the church was very restrictive for a long time. And also, like I said, we were clamped between two things that were lying to us, basically, that were misleading us. We're lucky if we ever knew any truth. I mean, it was bad. For a long time, we always had some sages and mystics and some religious people who knew what was going on, but we all had a world of misinformation to deal with. In order to get through to the truth, you really had to be brave and persistent. So, in brief, I had a dream that I was going to die, and I saw details. And I woke up and told my now ex, and said, I just dreamed my own death. And I told him the details, and it even gave me a range of time. It gave me the conditions. It gave me my actions that lead to it. It gave me the actions of other things that led to it. And it was just a short dream, but obviously, it really shook me when I woke up. I told him all about it. And it involved a sticking gear shift. Well, at the time, we had an old van that had already given us some trouble when the brakes went out on a tall hill, and I had to navigate that thing. That was a standard transmission, and it was a standard transmission that stuck, and we knew it stuck. It was crazy to drive that thing anywhere, really. And though, when you're young and immortal, and you're still, you're young and crazy, you do crazy things, like trying to drive that boat. Even though we knew it didn't have an emergency brake. How crazy was that, So we said, well, we had a friend that said, okay, if you really are serious about this, I got a spare car you can borrow. It's an old one, and it's fine. You can use it for a while. And during this window of time when this is supposed to happen, you can use this vehicle and just mothball the van. So we did that. And so when January, here we are in January, so we're coming up on my anniversary of this. And this may be part of why this is coming up again. The anniversary of my death is coming up. Now, like I said, this has been Mandela affected for me. After I died, when I had my NDE, that was when a lot of personal and other Mandela effects started for me. And nobody was calling them Mandela effects yet. That wasn't even a thing. But that's the same as the upshot of it. The things that I remembered were wrong. I was remembering everything wrong, and everybody around me was different. And, I'm like, what's going on? Well, I was different. But there was a lot to that time. So even though we tried to stop it, it happened anyway. My death happened anyway. He talked me into going out during that time period. And there had been snow involved. And he says, oh, it's a clear day. We need to get this done. I need you to do this errand. It's a clear day. We've got a different vehicle. There's no way it could be happening today. Don't you know, it started snowing, and that vehicle's transmission did stick going down the hill. And I did die. So that, is the basic bare bones story of that. And I saw the other side of life, the afterlife, which was a beautiful place. And there's no fear, there's no pain, there's nothing like that. I didn't encounter anything like that. I didn't encounter anything bad. I did encounter in my journeys there something odd. I ended up in a cave talking to a very, very old person. A very old, very wise person. But mind speaking. It wasn't verbal communication. And they were giving me basically a download, what has come to be called a download. To me, it was like a package in my mind. Here, and this will unpack itself in time, and you'll understand more as time goes on. But here's some information, a big chunk of information. Kind of a zip file, honestly, if you want to know. It was kind of like I was given this big zip file. So, well, let's see what the chat is saying. Lots of us had trouble after we moved them on. There were so many spirits. Yes. Yeah, I think we were all I'm sure that there were beings that were very upset about that. But I want to say, everybody who participated in that, you're all heroes. You, me, and everybody else should be considered heroes, because both that needed to be done. And I mean, that was felt by more people than you know, and people commented on how different things began to run after that. But it was necessary to do. And I mean, but yeah, there were after effects. There definitely were. So now I do it a little differently. I'm not trying to do that big of a chunk at once. It's a little bit more hit and run. It's like, ooh, all over the place. All these portals are open to go to the other side. If you missed it, here's your next chance. And then, of course, I send beings to help round them up and show them that it's there and that they can now cross, and to help guide them and keep them from fearing the ones that are able, the ones that are amenable to crossing. But then, yeah, we kind of stirred up a hornet's nest, I think, because there were a whole bunch that weren't ready to go, if you remember, tons. And they had all kinds of different reasons. We only took the ones that were willing to go because that's all I could handle. And that's really all I felt any of us could handle, is trying to fight with them all to get them, trying to argue with them to get them, or explain to them, all would be too difficult. So at that point, so I just made the call, okay, we're only going to take the ones, but that left a whole bunch who, some of them were troublemakers, obviously. And, but I learned a lot from that. I think we all did. And but it was necessary. It was just one of those things that I might have overstretched a little by going back 35,000 years, but I had to stop. They made me stop at 35,000 years, so I have to think that is maybe where something important happened. So, and there have been some, there's been some information come up that points to that as being an important time. Might have been a time when things were shifting over. So, but, we're trying to make sure that all of the actual consciousness, all of the real people get the heck home. And because we're not going to be satisfied getting to the other side and having, nobody wants to think about coming back and doing this ever again. All of the stuff we've had to do, this mission. And those of you who don't know about the mission, sorry. We've had, many of us, an ongoing mission to wrap things up here, and to write the inverted matrix, is how I'll put it right now, is to set the inverted matrix right, with a reset. Some of us, it was our job to reset. Some of us, it was our job to make sure people got home safe. And then a whole list of other things. Spreading information. Some of us were, a lot of us had our special jobs that we were doing here. And many of us had NDEs. So, and had been working on stuff like this for a long, long time. It really made us stretch our abilities. So I just want to say to whoever hears this, if you've been doing this kind of work, you're a hero, because there are, of course, beings that don't want you to be able to do that. That really would rather you not. So, although it's lightened up now, we have a lot, and even though it looks terrible right now, a lot of things have lightened up. We don't have to worry about it quite as much as we did then. It's not as, we've only got minions now. We don't have the big baddies here anymore like they were. Now we just have their minions to clean up. And they're not nearly, I mean, the brains are gone. The brains are gone. You know, the part that was doing the thinking that's gone. So they're not very bright, and that's really obvious, isn't it? What's left, they're not very bright. They might be kind of clever still, because some of those old programs are still running, but they're not very bright. They're not smart. So we're obviously going to win now, because I mean they've got no chance without the brains. They got no chance, no matter what it looks like. Okay. Now let me. Oh, I forgot. I'm the ocean. This is the ocean's deep woo. Woo is what we do, the deepest of woo. And this, if this is too deep for you, sorry about your luck. But really, if you are an experiencer, you're in a good place, because most of us are experiencers. Many of us are psychics, clairvoyants, mediums, shamanic practitioners, etc., and spiritual workers of different kinds. And we share our experiences because it's important. We are the disclosure. We're the only disclosure we're going to get. Hey, Pam Smith, for probably a long time, because I don't think we may get some disclosure. I mean, we're still trying to get that, but really until there's absolutely no percentage in keeping it a secret anymore, we're probably not going to get information from our governments. So we have to disclose to each other, and that's what we've got. So it's important. It's important that we keep telling our stories, keep sharing our experiences. So please realize that it's hard to be an experiencer, put you in a very vulnerable position. Be nice to each other. Be respectful. Be kind. Don't get into arguing. If you have to disagree peacefully and all that. Okay, don't get into fights. Just respect each other's experience, because different people experience things differently. And one person's world, I don't believe we all really live in the same world. We see things through our own filters and through our own lens. And that's all we can do. We cannot please everybody. We just can't. There's too many different viewpoints, and that's good. A lot of different viewpoints are good. So, and with that said, also I'd say, remember, this is just tips, tricks, and hacks for playing that massively multiplayer total immersion virtual reality learning game. Holofractal too. Holofractal. Learning game called Life on Earth, which has nothing to do with real life, which takes place outside the Matrix. And with that, I can probably say just about anything, but I'm a little careful anyway. So if you kind of hear us using code to talk about things, this is just the way you have to do it. This is just the way that the tube rolls right now. Some people can get by with saying whatever, and some people can't, and we're never sure exactly what we're going to say that's wrong. So we're just careful about how we talk about things, that's all. So read between the lines. And okay, so basically we've done mass crossing overs on this channel. It's in the archives. It's still there as far as I know. And that was a really wild ride. Yeah, there's a lot of imbalance in this realm. That's right, Michelle. It won't be forever. This is going to get corrected soon. I see it happening. A lot of corrections being made pretty soon. We've already seen some corrections being made. There's going to be more. You know, in spite of everything else and how bad it looks, corrections are being made. So we have progressed. We have progress. And this is very hopeful now that things are going to work out and without ever having to go down this road again. And besides, we're getting moved to a different server, and that'll be with a different OS. That should take care of every residual thing. So it's not anything to worry about. We're all going to be taken care of. But we're trying to make sure that we're not carrying anything with us. We're trying to make sure that everybody who needs to go is going where they need to go. And it's a kind of a mop-up operation now. It's just like mop-up after a horrible battle, which it's been for centuries now, a horrible battle. It's not just a recent thing. This has been going on a long, 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 long time. So this is mop-up operations, and I hope that doesn't sound too indelicate for a massive spiritual operation that we're pulling here. But that's kind of how we have to look at it. Thank you, Linda. So basically, we've got this still hanging in the balance. And I think this is one, oh my gosh. Okay. Maybe this is the dream I keep having. Something being left on the table. Something being left that's going to be taken away. Maybe this is it. We haven't quite gotten through with that yet. It's going to have to be a pretty massive effort. I know a lot of people who are already doing this, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to do it the way I did it last time. We're going to have to dial back on the heroics a little bit. That was just too hard. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, and by the way, please like, share, subscribe, and later on when it comes back up, comment so that other people can find us. If you are part of our crew, and I kind of feel like we were a crew, we were a team, and one of the reasons I'm putting this out is because we need to find the rest of our team. I don't want to leave anybody behind. That way, not that anybody's going to really be left behind, but I don't want to leave anybody out. I want to find them all, make sure they're all found and accounted for. And that's kind of important too. But yeah, I've had a dream about leaving, having left something a while back and coming back and saying, okay, I'm going to, leave it on the table for another go round, because I was a vendor at one time. And then the next go round, it's missing. It comes up missing. It's like, I've been trying to figure out what that's about. It may be about something like this. This may have something to do with it. So, yeah, we'll have to stay the course and do what we do best, right? Well, let me see. What are we saying in the chat? Michelle says we are the spiritual cleaners. Yes, that's true. You dreamt that you were driving and the rear view and side mirrors were blown out? Interesting. Okay, the little girl down the hall is early. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean, Pam, but I also understand that auto screw up is rampant these days. It's Mercury retrograde and auto screw up's favorite time. Baby, fall, tells her. Baby, fall? I'm still not sure I totally understand, but anyway, little girl, does the people down the hall are okay. Not sure what her baby doll tells her. Does what her baby doll tells her. And we know the dolls were originally constructed, one of their main functions were to house spirits of the dead. It's her husband. So her husband's talking through the doll? Is that what I'm getting from this? Is that she feels her husband is talking to her through this baby doll? And you sold cotton in Virginia? She's terrifying. I never did like dolls that much. Now I know why. It took me a while to really understand why, but I always had a kind of an aversion to dolls. Oh, she introduces her doll as her husband. Interesting. It's very interesting. There's something about that coming up too. Tom MacDonald's song, Ghost. He's good. He's good. If you haven't heard Tom MacDonald, you need to hear Tom MacDonald. You need to punch that in, M-A-C Donald. Okay, not like Mickey D, but MacDonald. And he's a rapper, but he's now gone into pop music, and he's #1. And he's an independent artist. And of course, David just loves him because he is an independent artist making his own music, and he has fealty to nobody. And this is like an artist's dream, an independent artist's dream, because as soon as you want to own your own music, there are people who come after you. I mean, there are people who have died after getting hold of their own music. So, yeah. Oh, you listen to him too, Richard. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah. Well, his song Ghost, it's cute as a button, but it's also it also has a line that says, "And when I'm a ghost, I'll still be your woo. I'll always be your woo." Not boo, woo, woo. And I thought that was awfully cute. And he and Nova, his girl, are in the song. So in the video. Oh gosh, don't start that yawning stuff. I'm gonna sit back and take a breath so I don't be doing that. I must be needing some oxygen. Yeah, auto. Oh gosh, auto correct, auto incorrect. Most of the time, if it has a choice, it chooses the wrong one. You know, it's sometimes I think it's on purpose. Is somebody playing a joke here? It isn't funny. I can't, you know, communicate. It's not funny. Sometimes it is, but mostly not. It's just silly. Ruins a lot of my jokes. So his whole song is about, I've never seen anything like you, and I'm going to be here until I die, and then even after I die, I'm still going to be your woo. Very interesting, in light that I have a woo of my own, named David. He comes to see me quite often, and as I said, David really likes Tom McDonald. This is, you know, a very historic event. He has hit #1 on the pop charts. This has never happened. And he has done it with a pop song. When he's a rapper, he comes from the rap field. The alternative type, he has very alternative views. This is one thing that really gives me hope. I mean, this really has given me hope. It's a pop song. It's about what I just told you. That's the subject matter. It's about a life after death, love. It's like, it's so wholesome, and you know, it's so completely wholesome. It's kind of funny. It's like, how is this happening? But it is. It's a great song. So, but it is happening, and this is historic, and we need to applaud it because this is a bit of light that needs to be shown. If he can do that now and not have something terrible happen to him, I hope that doesn't happen. But because most people who in the past did that kind of thing had bad things happen. They were gone not long after that. They were passed on. But so Linda says, give me a toy truck over a doll anytime, right? Well, I wanted an erector set or a lab kit or a paint kit or something, but I didn't want a doll. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. So your phone is acting possessed now. Yeah, I think you need to smudge your phone stat. You need to tape a piece of selenite to that sucker. Or something. You need to smudge the heck out of that, pray over it, and tape a hunk of selenite to it. Jeez. Yep. If you don't have selenite, it comes in many forms. This is one of them. This is the Desert Rose selenite. It's pretty cheap. Selenite's cheap. So I have a bunch. I used to sell it. I don't know where it is right now, or I just say, hey, let me know, I'll send you a piece. But it's not that hard to find selenite these days. Everything's getting a little harder or easier rather than harder. Used to be harder in the old days, is what I was trying to say, two things at once. It doesn't usually work out. So there's some tools that I would advise when you're trying to do crossings over. A couple of the tools is what I said. It's nice to have selenite around. Nice to have some crystals to help you, because they will absorb, not only absorb, but also emanate some things you need and absorb. A lot of your stones, they will actually absorb some stuff that gets thrown at you and or deflect it. So like black tourmaline is really good for grounding and protection also. And selenite, though, throws so much light around that it's really good for spiritual work. And it's also said to both charge your other stones and cleanse them. So everybody should have some selenite. I also find that it's a really great stone for gridding your place. And by gridding, all it means is we put, like for instance, we're gridding with selenite. Okay, so you put selenite at pretty much, make sure that it's at the main openings of your place, the four corners and the main openings. And you can, like I bought a package that gave me about 24 little tiny chunks of selenite, and I just put them on the lintel of every door and on the corners, and have one sitting on my kitchen table. And then these little desert roses that are very easy to come by, I have them lying around here and there. So that's how I've been handling that. And since I have done the grid work, I haven't had hardly anything. Nothing happens here. Nothing untoward happens here at all. So it's very good. Oh, okay, you can't do Wednesday, but a Monday or a Friday. Okay, well, it'd have to be a Monday, Pam Smith, because we don't do Friday generally, although I might be talked into it if I thought people would show. There's usually a lot going on Friday. But, yeah, I may try a Friday once in a while. But, okay, Monday then. Pick a Monday. Just another Manic Monday. Pam Smith is going to come on our show and give us some of her experiences, the benefit thereof, and so get ready and be really nice to her, because just like everybody else, it's a brave thing to come forward with your experiences. So make sure you give her all due respect. Yeah, your stones can help you. And actually, I met a stone spirit, a stone elemental, and I call him Gravel, because he had a gravelly voice, and he said I could call him. I said, can I call you Gravel? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, Gravel, what do you want us to know? And what he looked like was, he was vaguely shaped like an old mailbox, a really old, those big old mailboxes he used to find on the corner where everybody put their mail that you don't see hardly anymore. That kind of, he looked about, it's shaped vaguely like that. And yet he was, it was sort of There were tinges of metallic, there were tinges of crystalline, there were all kinds of, all kinds of colors, but definitely there was a metallic and stone feeling. And he said, the mineral kingdom will help you. We want to help you. And I said, well, that's very kind of you. Yes, we've been employing you for years. He says, I just want you to know that we're going to support you in this work. We're behind you on this because we want to see this being handled as much as you do. Yeah, he didn't use those words. Okay, this was mind speak, so you know how that goes. It's the idea of, the idea of. And so it was the idea of they're just as concerned. It annoys them just as much as we, it troubles them as much as it troubles us that this stuff is left undone. It needs to be done. And they want to be part of what's helping us handle this. So they want to be a part of that, which I thought was very nice of him to make that very clear. He says, please, I mean, in my mind, I got this idea of please do use your minerals. The mineral kingdom wants to help you. So that was pretty cool. Okay. Okay, Pam Smith. Yeah. That's great. So, like I said, there are stones you can read up very easily online on which ones are the best for whatever you're doing. But selenite's a good all-purpose. Clear quartz is a good all-purpose. Be sure you cleanse them after you do things. Be sure to charge them up. I'm feeling something come in. We've got some spiritual attention upon us right now. What's the difference between talking to yourself and mind speak? That can be kind of hard because I used to wonder, is that me? It's subtle. Well, a lot of times it's stuff that why the heck would I come up with that? Or you're having a conversation. Who are you having a conversation with? I thought when I was sitting in the forest, when I was mind speaking Sasquatch, now I could have been also mind speaking dryads, fairies, or whatever, the land spirits, whatever. I didn't realize I was mind speaking Sasquatch until they told me that's what had been happening. And I saw somebody's experience with that, and they talk about mind speak and Sasquatch mind speak and what they're like, and it's like their energy. That is like their energy. So you have to feel the energy. And this is what Mother and Father, Divine Mother and Father said a long time ago when I was channeling them. And when I was getting messages from them, they always said, remember, you're divine, but you need to be able to, how did they put it? They said, in effect, you can fake looks. You can fake the way somebody sounds. You can fake the way somebody looks. You can come up with a pretty message, but you can't fake the energy signature. So what you're looking for is the right energy signature. If you want to know if you're talking to your brother, does it feel like your brother? And this is something that's just the opposite of what we've been taught, right? We need to actually feel our way through these things. We need to be able to discern the energy, and the way we discern it is by how it feels. So does it feel cold? Does it feel warm? Does it feel like your brother? You know what your brother feels like. It Sasquatch has a certain feel to him. Uh, Angels have a certain feel to them. Yeah, there aren't very many words to describe these things, but you kind of have to use and learn discernment. And if you feel like you don't have that, ask to be trained. You can do that totally. Right. Well, then it's your brother. Because I encountered things that looked like my ex that weren't my ex. It didn't feel like him either. Um, you know, I encountered in a dream time something that was looking like my mother, but it wasn't my mother. The feeling was different, and I mean, things let you know pretty quickly, usually what they are, really, if you really take a moment to check it. It was your brother then. Yeah, there's lots of information on crystals. I mean, I can tell you some, but there's just tons of information and maybe an overwhelming amount. I'll give you the short list. Like I said, the short list is things like clear crystal is good for almost anything. Black tourmaline. They also have things like shungite, which is very popular now, a very positive energy stone. There's selenite, which throws a lot of light and is a very positive stone for using for these purposes. But there's many, 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 many things that are great that want to help. And it all depends on what you're doing. And I have actually had stones when something was thrown at me. I've had them crack. I've had them crack and fall because they took the hit. It was being aimed at me. So they will actually uh, self-sacrifice for you, knowing that they're not really going to die, but they're going to be altered. But yeah, I've had them throw themselves in the path of things to help me. So that's something to consider. These things have awareness, and sometimes you will get like gravel. He feels metallic. He kind of tastes a little bit of metal. You get a feeling of metal and stone. You kind of get, how stone it's cold, but it's not like bad cold. It's just mostly it's cold, it's hard, it's stone, metal. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like what it is. Talking to him, he feels like minerals. Uh, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not saying cold and hard in a bad way. Likewise, something about the light and the false light. Have to talk about the light and the false light. And some people are very afraid that, when they die, that they've heard that they're going to be not to go to the light. And uh, oh yeah, your brother is definitely your spirit guide. If you've been hearing him, he's one of your guides. Now he's watching over you. That's a shoe-in. Your loved ones will do that posthumously. Oh yeah. I have a song about that. Hey Drake. Yeah. Do you hear me? Can you see me? I am right here by your side. I still love you. I didn't want to leave you. It's so hard to be denied. Do you believe that love can last forever, even in an afterworld? Then believe I will always love you. You will always be my girl. And the second verse is, did you know that when you talk about me, every single word I hear, when you remember the time we had together, you can be sure I'm near. Do you believe love can last forever, even here in the afterworld? Then believe I'll be right here waiting. You will always be my girl. Could you believe? Would you believe? Oh, please believe, believe, believe. Do you believe that love can last forever, even in the afterworld? Then believe I will always love you. You will always be my girl. Very hard to get through that song without crying. I managed to do it that time, but my eyes are watery. So, one thing I've been asked to tell people is that whenever you talk about them, you just spoke to you about your brother, he's here. He's beside you right now. They hear everything you say about them. And when all you have to do is think of them. They're near. They're not far. They can mind speak. Everybody can mind speak over there. Everybody. 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 There aren't secrets. But it does help them tune in when you're thinking about them or when you say their name. It helps them tune in on you. So that's one thing to remember. Another thing to remember is your loved ones still love you. Your loved ones will always love you because they're part of your group. They're your family. They've been your family forever, a long, long time. So they're going to be there for you. Okay? They're going to be members, and you know the ones that you resonated with the most. Those are going to be the ones that are going to be there for you, and you'll be able to feel when it's them because you know what they feel like. David he likes jokes. And it's funny because he'll try to fool me sometimes and come as somebody else. And sometimes I'll say, David, is that you? Because he kind of tests me a little bit. But I can pick up this playful, loving silliness. It's like, David, you playing with me again. He was always so playful. He loves a good joke. Very funny. Kept me laughing, let me put it that way. And he tells me I keep him laughing too. We'd make each other laugh and laugh. It was wonderful. Ben liked Budweiser. Well, well, thank you, Linda. You too. It is 11:33 here. We've been on nearly an hour and a half, and I only want to be on a couple of hours because I want to get on over to another chat room myself because I like to get around too and say hi to everybody. So I won't, and I don't want to go on too late because it does really kind of it does tire me out. I promised the live crossing over. I'm going to do a live mass crossing over. One thing you need is a mindset. Realize that there is an afterlife. Realize that there are beings who are going to be confused. This time, though, I'm going to ask for help, that all of the volunteers who can come to get their kin, come to get your kin. And there's something I have heard about that cannot be ignored. One of the reasons we hear that people are confused about their gender now is spiritual attachments of the opposite gender. Having undergone this myself, I had one myself, a male attachment, and I felt like a male. Now, if you have this kind of an attachment, it's confusing. And now that it's gone, I have absolutely no problem with it. But yes, it was confusing for a while. It was very confusing because it was very strong. Now, I got rid of mine. And I can tell you, though, it can make you feel like you should be the opposite gender. Could this be why we're experiencing this uptick in people who have gender dysphoria? Well, some of the scoop is, could it be that these spirits are hanging around looking for a vehicle because they don't want to leave? They still want to enjoy what they want to enjoy on the earth plane. And they hang around waiting for, they hang around maybe where babies are getting born, waiting to attach. This is the latest we're hearing, that this might have been going on for quite some time. So having been through this, I have to say, yeah, that's probably what is going on, is people with gender dysphoria might have a spiritual attachment of the opposite gender, of the opposite sex. That would account for it then. Of course, there could be other reasons, but that would be major. Then when that part would assert itself, it would be, you would feel like whatever that person had been. So let's see. Yes. Fun what? Yeah, well, thank you, Linda, for saying so. Yeah, it's a tearjerker for me too. Okay, see, and this has been really big lately, really been coming up a lot lately. People identifying as the opposite gender from what they are. And a lot of times this might result from spirits wanting to be the opposite, know what it's like to be the opposite gender. So they attach to the opposite sex. And yeah, and I've got to say, like I said, I had that happen. I lived with that for a while. And having gotten rid of that, I can say it can be changed. When you're released from that, you don't have any more of that problem. And I think we have to think about this. So the trick is, How do we get permission? You don't want to do these things without people's permission, but you've got to be really careful whose permission you're asking. I mean, are you asking them or are you asking the spirit that's attached to them? I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not saying that there are some people who are not. Um, I'm not trying to poo poo somebody's experience. What I am trying to do is say, consider that this could be what the experience really is about. It could be due to those who have not gone on, because you can return after you go on, after you pass on. You can return and visit people and look after them and help them. But if you're an earthbound, you haven't gone through the process yet where you're healed from your things that gave you trouble in this life. And you can pass this on to whoever you're attached to. So if you're listening, and I know a lot of you can hear me now, I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to the people who know somebody like this. I'm talking first to the spirits themselves. Do you know what you're doing to the person that you're attached to? And if you do, are you proud of that? Would you want somebody to do that to you? And if somebody did that to you, I'm really sorry. I hope that you heal up, but there are people on the other side that can heal you up. There are such things as what we call spirit hospitals, people that can help you heal from that situation. So I know you're listening, and I'm asking you to let go of people and go on. Go with your family. Don't try to stay here. This is really not that comfortable of a place. And you're not going to feel very good about destroying a life, because you know once somebody gets the surgery, they're not going to be able to have a natural child. It's going to change their life in many ways. They're going to be on pharmaceuticals their whole life. They're going to be addicted to pharmaceuticals just to live. So please understand this. If that does not change your mind, you may want to ask why. You know, next time around, you could be the gender you want to be. There's a choice. There's a choice. You don't have to stay attached. I'm beaming this out now. You don't have to. You can be what you want to be next time around if that's what you really want to be. If you go through the assessment, your own assessment, and by the way, you judge this yourself, and you can decide what you want to be. Wouldn't that be better than taking somebody else's life over? So, please, I'm asking you now. Anybody who's now kind of got a conscience about this, would you please now go with your family members who have come for you? The portals are open. The portals are open. Family members and angels come forward. Comfort these spirits, these earthbounds. Comfort them and explain what needs to happen next. May they see the open door, the light of the open door, and not be afraid. May they feel the warmth of their family and friends and the love of God expressed. May they feel it and be drawn toward it. Do you feel that warmth? Do you feel that love? Isn't that what you really want? And for those of you who are doing crossing overs or who want to do them, this is one of the ways I do it. I just ask for the portal to the other side, the angels that guard the portal. There's one on either side of every portal that I open. And I ask for God's light to come through. I ask for the angels and their family to come through and get them and escort them safely home, where they can find peace and rest and love and healing for what they've endured here on the physical plane. And for all who are volunteering to do this and help with this, thank you. You're brave, you're heroes. Thank you for your heroic service, because it does take a certain amount of bravery to do this. And I'm going to hold them over for a certain amount of time. I'm going to hold them open. But then I'm going to close them, because you should never leave an open portal lying around. It's not safe. It's not good. It's not healthy. Not good. Especially not this type. And I want it to be stationed in hospitals. I want them opening up in hospitals. I want them opening up in places where there have been battles. In places where there are many who need to go and who are finally realizing that they can leave and that they will not be harmed. Let them feel that love, and then they'll know they're not going to be harmed. They're not going to be hurt. Okay? This will be another layer. There will be still deeper layers that I'll have to address, and I realize that. I will leave this open for a little while, and we will relieve the stress a bit this way. I want to see everybody come home. Your families miss you. Don't you realize that? Your friends and your families miss you and love you. Don't you want to be with them? Right. Yeah, David does things like that too. He moves things, he hides things sometimes, and yeah. It's okay. I'm kind of being listexic right now. I'm reading your stuff right, even though it's all auto screwed up. Okay, so I'm going to leave this, and I am going to say, angels, leave this portal open for half an hour, and then it must close. They all must close in half an hour's time. We will get as many as we can get, and I'm going to say half an hour. I think that's probably a safe amount of time. And then we'll close it. Okay? This is my guidance. That's okay, Pam. Don't worry about it. I get that way sometimes too when I'm working on spiritual stuff. I get kind of airheaded, for lack of a better word. Okay. Now I can feel that happening. I don't know about you, but anybody who's listening or watching this in the future, you can use this. This can be used if you need it. You can play this. to help talk your spirits into going home. And this is from someone who's been on the other side. Many of us who've been on the other side will tell you there's nothing to fear. There's love there. There's your family. There's your ones that you've been missing for a long time, and they've been missing you. And it's very sad for me to think that you've gone this long without each other. So please consider it, because we are going to keep on until everybody's crossed over one way or another. We're going to have to clean this place, and leaving now with your family and friends and the angels is going to be very easy. If you cling, it's going to be painful, not because we want it to be, but because it is. It just is. This is not the realm for you anymore. Things are going to be changing. You're going to have no place here. And I really don't want to see that. I don't want to see that for anybody, how that would feel. I'm not sure what it would be like exactly, but I don't think it would be good. I think it'd probably be pretty dark and cold with no light. Okay, I'm doing this out of love. Because as much as the human race can annoy me at times, I also love them. You know, there's quite a lot worthy about the human race. Really quite a lot. And everybody knows it. You're going to be okay. Just take the hands of your loved ones and the angels. It's going to be easy. Okay. I'm going to allow this to just be what it is. Anybody have any questions? Or if anybody's doing this along with me? You might want to record some of your experiences, if you are having any experiences during this, to help other people understand what's going on later. I can feel a definite shift, though. I think it's doing good. I think it's working, which is very heartening. Right. Okay, Pam. That's not a problem. Most any phone it works fine. It's a link. The link just takes you in. If you get internet, you're going to be fine. Takes you to an internet page, and I haven't had anybody have any trouble, except you need to close any open other tabs when you come on, and you cannot have YouTube on another tab or anything, because that'll set up an echo chamber and you'll blast yourself out and everybody else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, we're coming up on 1:44. I've been on for an hour and 44 minutes. So we're getting very close to the time that I'm going to be cutting this off. Okay. I don't know what that means. I'm not that technical. I don't know what you mean, Pam Smith. I'm not technical enough to know that. I just know that most everything works. If you get internet, you just seem to come in just fine. The only time I have trouble when I'm on anybody else's show is when there's more than one person, because I guess I don't have high enough bandwidth. If you have enough bandwidth, you could do that, but my phone just freaks out when I try to come on to a show where there's more people than two in the StreamYard. So, okay. Well, prepaid internet. Do you know what? If you're under a certain income, getting any kind of social supplements, you are probably eligible for free internet. You can either have a free phone or free internet. I think that's how it works. If you want free internet, it's a good deal. I'd rather have that. I have a phone. I'm fine with. I'd rather have, because the government phones are, the free phones are crap usually. I'd rather have the free internet. Oh, you'll be fine. Everybody's fine. Everybody worries about it until they get here, and then we check on some things, and then we work it out, and then everybody's fine. You'll be fine. Okay, so you can probably get free internet. Yeah. So, and let that be a little bit of extra. Okay. I'm kind of getting, okay, I'm hanging on just a little longer. About another 3-4 minutes. Wow. Yeah, Michelle. If you want to expand on that a little bit, but I think I know what you're talking about. The collective. Well, you know, we've been under so much trauma here in this place. You gotta expect people to be kind of goofy, I guess, and not all be kind of on the same page. You have to talk to their higher self sometimes. Usually when I can't get any results any other way, I say, let me talk to the higher self. And then you'll find out what's really going on. So I'm going to do that in these last few minutes. If people are still refusing to leave, let me talk to their higher self. What purpose is it serving having them around, still here, suffering for the most part, is what I see. And if there's any way that the higher self would be okay with them going ahead and going home, can we please do that? Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah, multiple personality. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to go there later, Richard. I'm probably going to go see Dave and the crew there in a few minutes. We'll be shutting this down because it'll be 2 hours. Yeah, exhibiting multiple personality. Yeah. Well, multiple personality, Michelle, might be quite often multiple personality spiritual attachments, actually. A lot of times, that's exactly what it really is. Or when the individual has been shattered through trauma, which we already know that trauma can make you splinter. And that's what they were doing with MK Ultra, was shattering people on purpose. Um, that could be part of it too. And I'm trying to heal that too. We need to heal that too. There's been way too much of that. Yeah. So, as a person who had attachments before, I can tell you it's not fun. Some interesting things can happen. I learned a lot, but boy, it ain't fun. It ain't a good life. And usually you feel sick too. You don't feel well. You know something's wrong with you. But you can't figure it out, under normal circumstances with normal, by normal means. Doctors are not going to find it. So it's kind of something you have to do for yourself. Yeah. Okay. We're just about there. Any of the last few, make a run for it. Hurry it up. I'm about to close it for now. We'll do this again soon. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It causes us literally to shatter and form other personalities. But see, that ability that we have to do that is actually what makes us individuals. I mean, that's how we got, that's why there's so many of us. Let's put it that way. That is a natural ability of ours. And the way I see it, at least that's the way it looks to me, is that this is how, this is a normal thing with us, but not usually. It's a horrible way for it to happen. Let's put it that way. Induced trauma is a horrible way for this to happen rather than a choice. I can choose to do this if I need to do it. If I need to take myself and make myself exist in more than one place at a time when I'm performing some kind of work, I can do that. I've done it before and people have seen me do that. I have witnesses. Okay. When it needs to be done, I can do it. But when it's done intentionally by somebody else through trauma for evil purposes, this is very hurtful to the human spirit and needs to be healed. And we'll work on that too. I may have a show about that too. Okay, we're just about done. Wrap it up, everybody. Yeah. Fractals, yeah, that's what they're calling it now, fractals. We're really all one thing. I mean, there's many of me running around, but I'm really all one thing. I'm really all there is a larger me. I have fractals running all over the place. I have seen some of them. I've met them. Even on this plane, there are fractals. I can tell they're fractals of me. Some of them are in here. Okay, just about done. 5 more minutes. Less than 5 minutes. I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. So, in the meantime, I'm going to say, remember that you are divine. You do have a purpose. You do have a value and a worth. You are a creator. You're part of God. So you are divine. You have that divine spark. You have a choice. You have a choice about what happens to you individually, and you have a vote in the collective too. You have a part in the collective. So choose wisely what you're creating. And when you dream, dream big. May your dreams be fruitful. Create wisely and well, really. Realize that your words and your vibration, everything's frequency, everything's energy. Your words create sounds and vibrations, and that's important. Be mindful of what you say. It'll really help. Don't tell yourself scary stories about what's going to happen, and don't say negative things about yourself. It really hurts you yourself. I'm instructed to tell people that quit talking so negatively about yourself. It's not doing you any good. Your subconscious hears every word of that, you know. Okay. And remember, the truth is where you find it. I hope you're finding some on my channel. I really want to thank you for coming and visiting us here and spending some time with us here on this channel. This is a labor of love. It's not monetized here. It's probably partly how I'm staying out of trouble. It's not monetized. This is a labor of love right now. So please like, share, subscribe, do all those nice things. It helps us get found by people who need to find us. I would really appreciate that. I'm going to be looking in, I'm working on other platforms, but it takes quite a lot of doing to get switched over to other platforms because of the persistence of the ones that we have. Kind of, you know, it's not as easy. I mean, they've made it very easy to use these platforms that we have right now, but the newer ones are a little bit harder to get things set up with. So that takes some doing that I'm not that technical and that kind of thing. So I'm really working on it, but it's taking me some time. If anybody's really knowledgeable about that and wants to help, please do get in touch with me at oceandiana@gmail.com. oceandiana@gmail.com. Okay. Yeah, finding the right platform is a big deal. It is. Hey, cannabis resolution, that's really naysay in disguise. It's naysay in disguise. Hi. How high? So, okay, we got only another minute. So naysay came in right at the very, very, very end. We're about to take off because I'm only on usually a couple hours and I start at 10 Eastern. So right around 10 Eastern. So I usually end right about 12 Eastern. So if you come in at 12 Eastern, I'm going to be getting ready to go. Okay, hope you're back, wanting to come back on again, they say, soon. Oh, me too. I stress inspection all the time. I do the same dang thing. I don't know what. But no, I'm not going to say that. I'm saying no, I'm not stressing inspection this time. I'm going to quit stressing inspection. I'm quitting that. I'm fine. I am fine. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to float through it fine. When it happens, I'm going to be fine. Yeah, I used to be terribly stressed that way, Pam. Not going to do it anymore. Not going to let myself stress out that way. It only hurts us. Okay, what else do I generally say? Oh, yes. Be sure to let people know you love them. Many people will be leaving and they'll be going to the other side. Many have already left. Don't forget that they're only a thought away. They can hear you. They can still hear you when you talk about them. So you can just start talking to them. You can just say, hey, so-and-so, and start talking to them. They're not that far away. Matter of fact, they're not far. They're right here. Everything's right here. That's hard to conceptualize, but in the bigger picture, everything's here and everything's now. What? I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I always do. Oh, you know what, Pam? I was like that. Inspection. Well, if you live in an apartment or something, you get inspections. You have people come barge into your place and look around and judge it. That's what it feels like. Invade your home and judging you. And could have a big say in how you live your life. Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? Let's clear that right now. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have? And you just don't have to answer this. When I say, would we like to uncreate and destroy all that, you just say yes if you want to. Okay, do that. But let me ask the question to bring up the energy. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have? That inspections are horrible. They're going to find something wrong. We have to worry about it. We have to drive ourselves nuts, cleaning and getting ready. And they have so much power over us, and it's so scary, and it's so invasive, and it really, et cetera, all of the stuff that inspection brings forth, all of the panic, all of the feeling judged, all of that we're going to be judged harshly, and that, it's going to hurt us in some way, affect us, and hurt our lives in some way. Okay, all of that. Would we be willing to uncreate and destroy all that right now? We're going to take off a few layers right now, okay? And if so, just say or think yes, or type yes. And I'll do the clearing statement. Okay, we now uncreate. I now uncreate and destroy. You can say it with me. I now uncreate and destroy all that times a godzillion. A godzillion is an amount so large because we don't know how embedded this is. A godzillion is a very large amount times a godzillion. And then POC and POD, like POC and POD. That's all you have to say is POC and POD. It stands for something longer, but it's kind of like a magical phrase. POC and POD. I felt something big happen right there. Let's do it again. What attitudes and judgments do we have about inspections? That it's going to be something bad for us, and that we have to worry about it, and clean and go nuts and be perfect, and and that they have way too much power and they're going to invade our space and all of that stuff that comes up with that, would we be willing to uncreate and destroy all of that stress and tension and every bit of BS that comes up with that? Yes, I certainly would. I now uncreate and destroy all that times a godzillion. Pock and pod. Ah, yes. That should take some of the stress down. If there's more, let me know. Okay, it is now time to leave. Yes, we've done our bit. We've been on 2 hours, 5 minutes, 55. It's 2555, 20555. So, time to go. Okay, I love you guys. Hi, Beverly. We're not doing card readings tonight. It's not a card reading night, honey. You got to come on a card reading night. Okay, love y'all. Now, go out, bravely face today, tonight, or whatever you're having, and have a wonderful one. And I'll see you next time. Remember, we're here Monday and Sunday. Sunday, Monday, probably should put them in order. Sunday and Monday. And then we skip Tuesday and go. We're on Wednesday night, right around 10 o'clock. It's always going to be a Sunday, a Monday, or a Wednesday, right around 10 o'clock. Occasionally, we may come in on a different day, but that's the typical time schedule. Okay, love you guys, and I'll see you next time, and I'll see you at other chats. Have a lovely night.